Hello, everyone. Welcome to Court with Krissy. Calling your former white landlord the N word? That is exactly what freedom of speech is for. Oh, I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
Okay, let's see. Do I have Cassidy Ross versus Freedom Investment Group?
Yeah, that's me. Morning.
Ross, I got you there. And how about or is it Cassidy?
Cassidy.
I never. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're
Don't see a K too often there. Cassidy, and then Freedom Investment Group. Do I have anybody with Jim Sikalis right there? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear somebody. I'm looking for Jim
Yes,
Sikalis.
that's me.
Sikalis? Okay. All right. I got you there. I'm going to change your. Well, you got two devices going. Let's.
Yeah, I didn't know which one was going to work for me.
Okay. Why don't we take the other one off so I'm not getting confused? I'm going to remove the other one that gets your picture on. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Let's do that way. Guess first thing. Let's see. Freedom Investment Group. Have the two of you talked at all?
No, the last time that I spoke with Jim, he had told me to never contact him again and that his would be in touch with me. So I've never tried to reach out again.
Okay.
Did you get the book that I dropped off on Friday?
I've got a notebook here, three-ring binder of some sort.
Yes.
There. Okay. And it just says landlord negligence. I don't, I guess, let's see, affidavit. Oh, here it is. It's another part of it. You had an alias, and then looks like you're seeking $6,400 recovery from landlord for water deposit, unsafe and uninhabitable conditions. Have the two of you talked at all about this? I understand not recently, but
No.
Mr. Sakalis, would it help if I give you a chance to talk?
No, I mean, first of all, they're suing the wrong person. Secondly, they filed in the wrong jurisdiction, and they're also filing false claims. They
Okay, so
were a tenant on a month-to-month basis,
okay,
and they got
hold on,
evicted.
Mr. Sakalis.
Sure,
Don't give me everything yet. Just because those ones might kind of dictate what I'm going to
sure, I'm
do.
sorry.
You're Miss Ross, you're renting some property
Yeah.
somewhere from. Where was the property rented it from?
So the property we actually went through this when he was going through eviction court. We were going through
Okay, hold on. Let me just get some. And
it's
where is that?
Flint Township.
It's in Flint Township.
Yes.
Okay. And who are you renting it from?
From Jim Sakalis, the investment.
Is that who's on the lease?
Yes, I wrote down on the paperwork exactly how it was wrote down on the lease with Jim. The Freedom Investment Group LLC with sole proprietary as Jim Sakalis.
Okay.
And I do have a copy of the lease in the binder as well.
So I was just going to ask if I
Yeah.
got anything in the binder here.
Yep, there is a copy. If you look at Exhibit A, that is the amendment to the lease agreement in which it is signed as Jim Sakalis, trustee, Concord Land Trust, CEO, president. So, and we had went through this already with having the wrong township. We had Judge Marsh at first, and then we corrected that.
City, yeah. Okay. Well, hold on. Let me just. So, Mr. Sakalis, it looks like the lease agreement. Wrong party. It looks like it's got your name on there. Plus, it looks like it was rented between the Freedom Investment Group LLC, which she's listed as well. What's wrong with the names?
Well, they filed it with the wrong address when I got notice.
Well, let's not get to the address yet. You're here, but let's just stick to the rental agreement first. It's got your name on here. It's also got the Freedom Investment Group. How is that the wrong party?
That's correct party. I was just basing it off of what I got handed to me in person, which was under my name personally. And there was no reference to the property in which they resided at a few months ago.
Let's see what she's got here. I've got,
And this is Flint
got
Township. And
okay, but let's just kind of slow down and go through them then. I've got Jim's, I'm sorry, am I pronouncing it correct? Is it Cicalis?
yes, that's correct.
Okay, okay. She's also got Jim Cicalis and Freedom Investment Group LLC. She's got both listed.
Okay.
So that part, and then you said jurisdiction is not right. How is jurisdiction not appropriate?
This is in Flint Township. I'm assuming she filed with the city of Flint from the paperwork I received.
Well, apparently she's told me originally it was City of Flint, but this one's with Flint Township, which is my court.
Okay. I'm just
Oh,
basing
so
off of the
that's-
paperwork I got, Your Honor.
Yeah, no, I know, no, and I'm not. I just want to make sure we go line by line, make sure we get
Sure.
what we got right. Okay.
Sure.
And when was this terms of this lease agreement? Let's start there. Miss Ross, why don't you help me out with that?
That was 8/21/2025.
What is that date?
That was the day that we signed this lease agreement.
Signed it? Okay. And it was, how long was the term for, without me having to go through it? How long was the term for?
This was a month-to-month lease.
Okay.
It was actually because I
Month to month, okay.
have a 13-month lease, and then we had amended it about 2 months into staying there into this new lease, which was now month-to-month.
Okay, so we get a month to month lease, it looks like. So you're asking for $6,400 total.
Yes, sir.
So you gotta help me break, it says landlord negligence. Help me out with that. What does that mean?
I have everything kind of broken down.
But yeah,
The very first page here in the book kind of shows you in chronological order what happened at the property.
okay, so let's just start our hearing then, and we'll have to work through it then for both your sakes. And we through the legal parts that I can kind of address with both of you. Well, Ms. Ross and Mr. Scouse, why don't both of you raise your right hands for me? Get your hands raised, Mr. Sakalas?
Yes.
Okay, do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Ross?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's start out. You've got this broad statement on the alias negligence. Let's see what you had on the original.
I know it is a little broad.
Yeah.
So you want me to
Seeking recovery for it. Yeah, let's go through the ones that are the easier ones. Water deposit. You're
Okay.
asking for water deposit.
So we moved into the property on August 2nd. And when we moved, prior to moving into the home, we had let Jim know that we could not afford the $500 deposit to get the water turned on. He let us know he would contact the township, and then he would let us know kind of what they said. And we any response from him. He knew we were kind of working on a time limit, so
Okay.
we to move into the home anyways. So we
Well,
didn't water.
so why would you move in without an agreement on the water right off the bat?
Well, we had come up to an agreement that he was going to basically get the water turned on and that we would pay him back for it. But he never contacted us to let us know how much they were charging him. But our other lease to our last house was going up, and he knew it was going up, and so that we basically would have nowhere to go.
So let's start out. So you moved in on August 2nd, right, of 2025?
Yes, correct.
And was the water on at that time?
No, the water had not been on in 3 years at that point.
I'm sorry, it had not been on. So when did the water get turned on?
It got turned on August 16th when I paid the township to get the deposit turned on.
Okay, so you and that I'm gonna guess then was, from what you're telling me, was part of your lease agreement that you'd be responsible for water. Is that true?
Paying the bill on the water, yes, but not getting the water turned on. We lived in the home for 14 days without having any water, and he knew we didn't.
So why did you stay there then?
We had nowhere else to go. We would have been sleeping outside.
Well, and fortunately, you shouldn't have moved in then if you hadn't had things worked out.
Well, that I understand, but I also thought that he shouldn't have been let us move into a house that didn't have water because that's not habitable.
Well, but you were responsible for the water to be turned on. There may have been agreement that he would get it turned on originally, right? So you
Yeah,
moved in on August 2nd. Mr. Sakalas, why wasn't the water turned on August 2nd then when they moved in?
because they didn't have the money, and I told them they could not move in until the water was turned on, and they took it upon themselves to move in anyway. So they clearly trespassed on the property, and then they started residing there.
I'm sorry. How was it considered trespassing when we signed a lease and we were given keys to the property?
I did not give you the keys to the property. You broke in. There's a front window that was broken out,
The padlock on
and you.
both doors, sir.
Yeah.
I have the messages where Jim gave me the code to
So hold
unlock
on,
the
guys.
padlock in the front door. I have messages of that.
And I have messages showing that you were not supposed to move in without having your utilities turned on or doing a walkthrough. You refused to do either.
No, you don't.
I actually also have
Guys, hold on. Yeah, I'm not gonna have the two of you arguing between the two of you. It's my court. We're gonna do it my way, okay? So Mr. Sakalas is telling me though, he told you couldn't move in until the water was turned on.
He never said. Your Honor, I
Never
have
said that.
messages proving that he was going to get the water turned on. I have messages of that.
Same here, sir.
We have those. Like, I can show those to you. We did not break any windows. Nobody trespassed. He gave us the code to get into the home. I would not be here today if I broke into a home. I promise you that.
So let's just start out though. You moved in, there was no water,
Correct.
correct?
Until I could afford to turn the
Yeah.
water.
Okay. And so, ma'am, okay, let's just move on for that then. So how are you seeking damages for water if you've got it turned on, you lived there for 2 weeks apparently voluntarily without water?
So I do have two. I did catch an exhibit B, B2, and B3, three different MCL excerpts that
Well,
are
I don't want to hear that. I want to hear what about
those.
the water itself.
That's what
What's your cover? How are you asking for water damages?
this is right here, because the premises basically stating that a home is supposed to be fit for habitable use before someone moves in. If
Did you file? Okay, so let's just start out there then. Did you send him a notice that, listen, I have no water?
yes, I did. Yes, sir.
When did you do that?
I have text messages. Let me find it real quick in the book, and I can tell you exactly where that's at in here. And then once the water was turned on, because it hadn't been on in 2 years, a bunch of burst pipes. And so when the township came and they did turn the water on, water sprayed all across the house. They had to actually replace the valve to even get my water working.
Okay, was that done? Did
Yes,
they
that was
repair
done
that?
by
Okay.
township themselves. And they actually told me that, and they changed my meter. My meter was busted. They told me I couldn't even use my water because my meter was broken. And she told me it was a $600 charge, but she wasn't going to charge me because she knew that I needed water. Right here, I have these messages. Exhibit C would show Brandon messaging on August 18th saying that we still can't take showers. We're just going to fix this ourselves. Because even after we got the water turned on, so the water was turned on and things were fine, then we found our water improperly vented. My dad had actually come and do repairs, because I have messages in here too also stating that there was 2 or 3 day gap between when Jim was going to have his contract come to
Where
fix.
is that? What am I looking for?
That's
where's
going to
that conversation?
be Exhibit C. Right there, Brandon's telling him that we still can't take showers because our water heater was improperly vented. And my father told me that if we were to turn that water heater on, that
Ma'am, I'm not going to listen to what anybody else told you. Okay.
okay.
Where's Exhibit C though? I got a bunch of tab things. I'm looking for.
It's behind tab.
Tab 3. I got you. Okay, tab 3.
That was me kind of just explaining though that the water heater was single vented instead of B vented, and if we would have turned the water heater on, it would have killed us.
Okay, hold on. This tab 3 though aren't exact conversations. This is just you summarizing things, correct?
That's pretty much the whole conversation.
I don't. But it's not like a text message. It's nothing. It's just you summarizing what
No, those
That's
those
fair.
They're different.
yeah, sir,
They're
those
different
are
colors. They're black and white.
Oh, it's on the second page of it. Oh wait, hold on. The black. Oh, I got you. I'm looking at tab 3. This is got a bunch of summaries on it. Okay,
and
so it's the second page. Hold on. Let me
sorry.
just see what you got. This is Jim checking back. Is there water heater? Toilet. Okay, so yours, the pages I'm looking at says, hey Jim, Mark is coming tonight to fix our water heater and toilet. What is the date on this page? Do you have a date? I can't read the
Yeah,
date on it.
that was August 18th.
August 18th. So this is way past the move-in date.
Way past the move-in date. And I had been asking
So I'm still stuck on the water itself, though. You don't have any conversations with him telling you, listen, go ahead and move in, the water's not on, or you saying, hey, how come we don't have any water? Do I have anything like that?
that was on no, because it was on a call.
That was on a call. Okay.
And then the
So
keys.
tell me, so let's start right from that part. When was the first telephone call that you did not have water? When did that happen?
That would be August 2nd. The minute that I walked in there, I used the bathroom. I tried to flush the toilet. It didn't flush, and I immediately called Jim and asked him what the heck was going on. And he let me know. Oh, basically what he said was, oh, they told me it was $500 too. Couldn't help you. Sorry. And at that point, I was already in the home. The thing
Okay,
was,
so hold on, just answer my questions, okay? So you called him on August 2nd after you moved in,
yes, sir.
and you asked him what's going on with the water, correct?
Correct.
What was just the response on that? What was the response? What's going on with the water? What did he tell you?
They told me the deposit was $500 as well. Sorry, I couldn't help you.
Okay, $500. Sorry, I can't help you.
Pretty much.
Okay, so at that point, you knew you didn't have water, and they needed a security deposit, 500, or at least a deposit for water, 500, correct?
Correct.
So what was your response to, hey, they need $500 deposit? What did you say back? Anything?
I immediately started crying and freaking out because I was wondering what I was going to do without water for 14 days. This has never happened before. Nothing like
Mr. Scalaz?
Yes, Your Honor.
So
Yes, Your Honor.
she says she gave you a call on August 2nd and asked what was going on with the water. Did you answer a call with that?
Yes, I reminded her that it was her responsibility per her contract to have to pay the $500 deposit before she moved in, and she was not supposed to be moved in, and we didn't even do a walkthrough. Had we done the walkthrough, she would have known there was no water on yet, and she needed to abide by her agreement. It clearly states tenant's responsible for turning on utilities, including water. She knew that, and she moved in anyway.
Judge, can you show me in our lease agreement where it states that? Because our lease agreement's printed out in the book.
I'm just asking about the conversation between the two of you right now, okay? He says that his response was, listen, you know you're responsible for the water. You didn't, you just kind of moved in without a check-in list or anything. Did you fill out a check-in list when you moved in?
No, sir, I did not. This
Why
is
not?
second
Why not?
because it's the second place I've ever lived. I didn't think that I would.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I would have to make a form to not be gypped out of not having water for 14 days.
Ma'am, that's part of the reason of needing a check-in sheet. He's by law supposed to provide you with a check-in list.
He did not. He did not.
Okay, and he's telling me that's because you just moved in without going through it with him.
Not true.
We also did a walk-in.
We did a walkthrough, and I also have a text message.
Hold on. When was the walkthrough?
August 1st, literally the day before we signed the lease to move into that place.
Mr. Scalis, is that true? Did you do a walkthrough on August 1st?
No, we did not, Your Honor. And to answer your question, page 4 It clearly states utility and services are the tenant's responsibility.
So you're telling me that in no form did you go through the house on August 1st with them?
Correct. It was prior to the first where they walked through the property to see if it was the property they were interested in moving forward with. After that, I didn't receive notice of them occupying the property until the second when they called me and said they didn't have water. And I reminded them of the fact that the utilities were their responsibility and they would have to pay the $500 security deposit per the Flint Township requirements.
And so Mr. Sagals, I'm going to ask you then, once you told them that they're responsible for the utilities, includes the water, what was their response to you?
They didn't say anything more to me. They said, well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. And I didn't hear from them for a while. And then they started complaining about not having showers. And I, again, said, why are you in the property without utilities? We didn't do a formal walkthrough. And then they started harassing me with slanderous remarks, text messages, emails. Her boyfriend called my wife a whore, threatened to kick my ass, threatened our contractor, wouldn't allow access to do the repairs. I have all this documentation with my attorney, Your Honor. I've had nothing but harassments from these people. They're terrible, evil people.
So when
Is that what we're talking about?
when they're, I guess after this August 2nd date, they're still there apparently a couple weeks later. Why did you ask them to move at some point?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
When did you ask them to move?
On the 2nd, I said, you cannot move your belongings in there and take occupancy until you get the utilities on. And the last message I received from her when a text message was, we'll figure it out. And then I didn't hear from her again for about a week or so when she started complaining about the shower not working. I'm like, I'm confused. I thought you were going to get your water turned on.
Your Honor, I have a message from Jim that says on July 22nd, good morning. Please call Flint Township to get, so I'm sorry, I apologize. I was off about the August 1st. So July 22nd, he messaged, good morning. Please call Flint Township to get your water turned on and utilities transferred. It would be great if you could have your water on before move-in so my contractor can make sure everything's pressure washed. So that is not him stating that we have to get it done. He stated it would be great if we could have it on before we move in.
Hold on. When was that conversation?
That was July 22nd, 2025.
Okay, so at that point, you knew there wasn't going to be water on unless you got it turned on.
Correct.
So why would you move on into the property knowing that there's no water at that point?
Why would he let me move into the property knowing there was no water? I texted back. I said,
he just told you need to contact Flint Township. What you just told me.
Agreed.
On July.
And I have a message in here. I replied July 22nd. I tried to get the water turned on, but they said they need proof that the taxes have been paid. He responded back and said, tax bill isn't due until September. I said, thank you. He said, I'm here now. When you come, ask for an affidavit. I said, okay, thank you. I should be able to leave work a little bit early. July 20th. He said, thank you. Let him know about apartments.com. July 29th, he messaged, hey, just checking to see if utilities got turned on in your name. I said, hello, Jim. Like I told you, we had to pay our last month rent and utility, so we planned on trying to turn them on Friday.
Okay, so when was the date he said, I'm calling regarding if you have water turned on already? When was that?
July 29th, 2025.
July 29th?
Yes, sir.
So he's calling you saying, hey, have you got the water turned on yet?
But at that point, we had already lived there. We were already there.
No, you said you moved in August 2nd.
And like I said I accidentally made a mistake. That wasn't the date. I apologize. I had the move-in date incorrect. It's a lot of information, and I'm trying to get it all to you so I don't waste time.
And also, Jim just stated that on the 2nd that he made that call, which was incorrect, obviously, because we had the dates wrong.
Right. So
That right there is
Well, both you have dates wrong.
right.
And
I
it
mean,
sounds to me like
he's going off of our
right,
date.
let's go on to the next thing. Let's go on to the next complaint. So we got water. What are you claiming for damages for not having water turned on?
So
You stay there. Just that part. That's all I want to know. Just
I
that
want
part.
I want $500 for my water deposit. I want my water deposit back because I don't believe I should have had to turn that on. I believe that was him and I never agreed that I was going to turn the water on to make that
Well,
happen.
ma'am, you moved into a place without water, and the lease is clear. It says you're responsible for utilities.
But that includes making sure that water's even turned on before moving in.
I would think so. If
But
you didn't have water back in this conversation when he's asking about water being turned on.
sir,
Where?
So
I
what else? What else? Hold on. Well, let's just go on to the next thing.
Where?
So what else? You have $500 you're claiming for water deposit. What else?
and I also want, so I have messages in here where I let him know that there was pipes that were burst that were causing leaks. And my one single month of a water bill for Flint Township was $410. And I let him know that those pipes were leaking, and yet nobody came to ever look at them or repair them. I have the $410 water bill is in the book all the way in the back. And I also have a copy of a formal request that I made for him to come and repair the leaky pipes that he never came to repair.
That's way for the threat of the contract.
So how much was this is your first water bill?
Was
$14?
$400. Correct.
I'm sorry, was what?
$410 for 1 month of water.
And when did you call him that the pipes were leaking?
That would be August 28th. I didn't call him, but I sent him actually a formal request for repairs via email, which is also in, give me just a second, I'll find it. Yeah. Exhibit D. So that's on
What is that another for? Which one?
under, that's Exhibit D. So under tab, it is,
4, probably.
is it 4?
I'm guessing. I'm just asking.
Tab, no, it should be tab 3, notice to landlord /
Oh,
communication.
it's still under 3? Okay.
Yeah. So the formal request is Exhibit D. So that's where I was letting him know that the bathtub had a continuous leak, which was appearing to be related to a damaged pipe, which is time-stamped up top as August 25th or 28th. I did put in here that leaks are leading to unnecessary water waste and could be increasing utility costs. Kindly asking that the issues be repaired as soon as possible to prevent further damage and additional expenses. In which maintenance was never scheduled to have someone come and check it out.
Let's see a date on your notice here. What date was that?
You said on the notice for
the notice that you're talking about. It says, "Dear Jim, I am reaching out to request several necessary repairs."
Yeah, you're looking for the date on that, you said?
Yeah, it
The
doesn't
top-
have a date on it.
Yeah, it's on the top left corner under the address. It says Cassidy N.
Oh,
Ross.
I see. It's underneath your address. I got you. Okay, August 28th. Okay, Mr. Sakalis, let's talk about that notice that she says she sent out to you. August 28th. Do you remember getting that notice?
Yes, I received the notice, and I immediately sent my contractor out there, Mark, to get access to take care of those repairs. I have receipts of proof that repairs were done. I also have proof of multiple text messages from her boyfriend, Brandon Small, threatening me and Mark, making vulgar remarks constantly, accusing us of having meth, screwing each other, calling my wife a whore, nigger, and a lot of other slanderous remarks. So at that point, Mark refused to come back out to the property because he feared for his life. Skinny little faggot bitch is what he's calling us.
Freedom of speech.
I mean, it's just uncalled for, Your Honor. It's uncalled for.
are allowed to talk.
They should have never moved into the property. They had no authorization to move into the property. They didn't turn the utilities on. They're trying to take advantage of the system
No,
Okay, so
as the victim,
You
and
are.
they're not the victim.
at all.
let's go back to the I guess before we get any further in this, he does raise a good issue that there was an issue. According to what he's telling me, you had no right to be on the property at the very beginning. How did Mr. Sakalis, did you give them a key to the property?
They had a code to the lockbox, but they told me they wanted to move some things in because they had to get out of the other property. And I told them, it's okay to move some of your property, your belongings in there, but you cannot physically take possession until the utilities are turned on and we do a formal walkthrough.
So
They moved in anyway.
where did I sign it? I never signed anything agreeing to that. I never signed any agreement to that at all. I signed a lease stating
You have the agreement. It clearly states it's your responsibility for utilities, and you didn't turn them on. And you just told the judge a minute ago that you didn't have the money.
All right,
let's
all right,
move on
Jen.
then.
Okay, Jen.
All right, Judge, let's just move on.
All right, Jen. Whatever you say, buddy.
So
Move on.
So we got personal items that he says you gave you the code to allow personal items to put in.
And
When
Move
I'm
it.
sorry, what? What do you have? I'm sorry, man. What do you have?
Judge, that's not true at all. That's not true. Judge, I wouldn't just move into a home. I promise you that. I wouldn't just go somewhere without somebody telling me I could go there.
I mean,
If you look at anything I've ever done criminally, I've never even been put in a pair of handcuffs.
Okay, but ma'am, we're not, nobody's accusing you of anything like that. I'm saying, hold on, when did you receive the code for the lockbox? When was that?
The 22nd. That would have to be the very
July 22nd?
Sure.
Received code.
And him state
When did you move items into the premises?
starting on the 22nd. I also still am not seeing anywhere in our lease agreement where it's stating that I am responsible for turning on the utilities. I still don't see that in here, Judge.
Page 4, second to last paragraph, page 4.
Only 3 pages, so I don't know what you're talking about. Second to last paragraph here states indemnification or liquid filled furniture. It goes extended absences.
It says utilities, right down at the bottom it says utilities and service. Tenant will be responsible for all utilities and services required on the premises.
On though.
yeah, that doesn't state they weren't gonna be on by the move-in date. That's what.
Yeah, but that's part of the issue here. So let's just kind of where's the date that everybody signed the lease agreement? I don't see a.
That is the amended lease agreement. If you look all the way on the right, it's kind of in the middle almost under landlord/seller/options.
I'm sorry. Where is it?
If you look on underneath of landlord seller optionator, it's the 3rd page.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Yep.
Okay.
25. So that was the amendment.
It looks like it's on August 21st.
August 20, 2025, because that's the amended one. So it's not the original lease.
Where's the original one? Don't you have that?
I didn't think we would need the original one because this is the new lease that we're talking about.
The original one was, I'm pretty sure it was, we made a down payment to purchase the home in a few.
Yes, $800, which we also never received back.
Okay, so anyway, this is the one that we
Should have.
was the original the same lease agreement, just the dates and signatures? Is that what you're telling me?
I believe so. You'd have to ask Jim about that one. If it's like the same lease. I believe that he might have changed a few things too, because our lease before was possibility of having land contract, and our new one was not land contract.
Well,
Yeah. Because
It's
we
definitely a month. Yeah, it's either way. It's definitely a month-to-month lease. It looks.
Yeah.
Like.
yeah.
the second one was straight month to month.
Okay.
The only thing about it that I was really concerned about was that per my research, when I had looked this up and I researched it, there was 3 different Michigan laws that basically told me that for a landlord to have a home, they have to have the water on and it has to be habitable. And that,
And I understand that, but the problem is he's arguing that you weren't even supposed to be on the property for moving in yet.
but
That's his argument.
we have,
Rightly or wrongly, that's the argument right now. So,
and like I said, I mean,
and it's clear that you're responsible for utilities.
correct. And I understand that maintaining them, yes, but turning them on,
Now, turning them on would mean that there has to be a deposit made too to have them turned on.
which is also understandable. But I've like the house I live in currently right now, my water is in my landlord's.
Ma'am, I don't, it doesn't, they're all different. I got to go by what you have here. And part of it is it says clearly that you're responsible for utilities.
Yeah, that once we make that deposit to make it into our name, that's you know what I'm saying? Like that's what.
Yeah. Oh, I understand what you're telling me, and then his what I'm trying to sort through is he's telling you that you shouldn't even been on the property yet.
A fib, sir.
We were
I
never
promise
told
you.
that.
I put it on my brother's ashes. That's a fib.
I promise you, we were never told that. Because if I was told that, I would have went to a different property.
She has a mother. Like we have family.
Right.
We could have went. We weren't like we could have went places. Could have got a hotel like we did when we had to move out when when the water got cut because of the bird.
When did you? I'm assuming you're not living there anymore. When did you move out?
We moved out. Hold on, give me 1 second, sir. I can tell you that. So we ended up having to move out of the home before our lease was even up because the water was turned off because of the consumers were both.
When did you move out? That's all I need. When did you move out?
Let me look real fast.
Yeah. I know it.
That would be, I believe, the last week of September.
Why did it get so again? Because
what excess waste?
Mhm. Why?
It was vacant.
So basically, he didn't say nobody was living.
Yeah.
He told them that nobody was living there.
The only reason we ended up having to move out too was because the water was shut off because the township was concerned that we were at $410 of usage for a month, and so they actually suspended the service because of that.
Well,
so we were.
I guess I'm not sure I understand it because utilities can be high, low. They're not going to just suddenly say, "Hey, this one's high, turn it off."
So
yeah, it was within weeks that bill was $400.
Yeah.
But was it because you guys called them and said, "Listen, our utilities"?
Oh, they have.
I'm sorry.
They have a metric system that they brought to us. They showed up to our front door and brought the metric, the whatever the measurements of the metric used. They brought it to us that it was an unhealthy amount of water was being used, and that was because of the bursting walls.
Yeah.
And because I'm sorry. So you just out of the blue, they came up and knocked on the door.
Yeah.
Flint Township Water Department.
Yes, the Flint water. Yeah, Flint. Twice they came. They came twice, and the second time they actually posted something on the door. It was actually ruined by water, or else I would have printed that to give to you. But they posted something and they put it on the door, letting us know that our usage was so excessive that they were going to turn our utilities off.
Do you have that someplace at all?
I don't, but I could get it. Yeah, I could. I'm sure I could. I went from the township, and he told me,
Mr. Sakalis?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did the township notify you that the water wasn't unreasonably high, or at least there were some concerns that the water was flowing someplace?
Yes, they notified me and let me know there was excessive water being used. I let them know that we were in the process of eviction. They were creating mold issues by running the shower. That's why the excessive use. And the township took it upon themselves to shut the water off because of non-payment.
When did they notify you?
I don't have a date in front of me, Your Honor.
No.
Your Honor, I actually attached inside of this book as well, photographs of where the wall was leaking, where you could see basically where the pipe was bursted behind it. And you can actually see the mold progressing from that area itself. I have 3 different photos that were 3 weeks of progression. So
Okay, yep, I got the photos. Where
yes,
is this in the, what area is this in, the bathroom or what is it?
the bathroom right next to the shower that he's saying that we created the mold in. But if you look at that, you can clearly see that the water is stained on the wall. So the pipe is burst. You could actually, and I
Okay.
didn't know this, you could actually hear the water trickling freely.
Rushing.
It was rushing out of the pipe in the water. You could literally hear it. And I did let him know that in the email repair request that I sent him.
Okay.
So saying that I created mold is crazy because that's actually clearly documented in a 3-month progression.
Just like the water heater ventilation, it was improperly done, and it could have caused.
I can't have you tell me that, yeah, unless you've got an expert here to tell me anything about code violations, anything like that. Okay. So let me, Miss Ross, I'm gonna ask you then. You got a water bill for $410, correct? And what month was that bill for? Do you know? I'm sorry.
I believe it was the month of September. It should be the very last page in your book. There's a couple of different receipts that I did get from the Township of Flint showing that $410 charge.
Okay. And that was just when you were moving out, correct?
Yes,
You
sir.
moved out in September. Okay. And then it sounds like since the water was turned on, you made the deposit though at some point.
Yes, correct. The water
How
on
much was the deposit?
$500.
Okay.
I paid the deposit on August 14th. They actually used most of my deposit to pay that $410 bill.
Got a $90 check coming in the mail.
Oh, I was just going to ask. So you paid the $410 out of that deposit? Is that what happened?
Pretty much. Which is crazy because my current place I live at right now, the last 3 months of our water bill is $91.
Again, we're kind of back now. This water seems to be the biggest part of this whole thing, as far as I can see. How are you claiming the 64? I understand 500 for the deposit that you made, that you had to pay for that excess water bill. Okay.
So
how do we get to $6,400? Where does that come from?
I have a couple easier ones. You want to do it? We can do an easier one.
Okay.
So I had a loss of compensation.
Yeah, I can't give you for loss of compensation from work.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't do that in small claims. So
why not?
I just can't. That's legal. I can't give you compensation for work. So okay.
I mean, I had to.
Okay. I'm not gonna. In fact, I won't do it anyways. But I can't. So.
Okay.
Okay. That would have been a nice, easy one, but I can't do that. So.
What about court costs?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna give you court costs if you win. That comes automatically.
I had a consequential expenses, which was tab 8.
What does that mean? What is that?
It outlines out-of-pocket expenses and financial losses that were incurred as a result of.
I'm sorry, boy, you cut out. It includes what?
It is the financial losses that were incurred due to loss of running water, unresolved plumbing leaks, and the unsafe repairs. So after the water was shut off and we physically could not get the water turned back on, we had to go and stay somewhere else. My mom was out of town, so we were allowed to go and stay at her. She wasn't home at all. And so the week that she was gone, we had to go and get a hotel. So I was asking for the $408 back that we had to pay for the 1 week that we had to stay in a hotel that my mom wasn't.
Okay, so slow down for me with that then. So what did you need to stay in a hotel for? Just slow down, go real slow for me.
So remember, so after our water got shut off, we didn't have any water at all. And so
and let's just kind of stick with that for a minute. So the water gets turned off at, you said, I think it was the end of September, correct?
Yes.
Turned off end of September. And at this point, you're still in the premises. Have you paid rent at all at this point?
I did. Yes, I did. I sent him $800 for my rent, and he actually sent me the payment back.
Okay.
And then
So
he
you're
claimed that I
so
didn't pay rent.
okay. So the water gets turned off the end of September, and that's due to this excess water usage thing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So end of September comes, water gets turned off. You're telling me you had to move, which if the water's turned off at that point, this is where you incur the $408. Is that right?
Yes. Yes. We went and stayed with my mom for the first 4 or 5 days, and then
Okay.
she had to leave for work to go to Mexico, and she didn't want us there while she was gone. So while she was gone, we had to go stay in a hotel while we waited for the new place we live at now.
So where did you stay? What was the hotel?
Yeah, we picked the cheapest one we could possibly find. The Red Roof on Pearson Road. And we stayed there because they have weekly rates. So
Okay, so tell me how you come up with the 408 then. How many days, or was it a week, or what was it?
we ended up being there for about 2 weeks.
So that's 408 is two weeks worth.
Yeah, about.
And why did you have to stay there 2 weeks?
Because my mom was gone. I don't have receipts for them.
So what happened at the end of 2 weeks? Where did you go at the end of the 2 week period?
Back to my mom's house until
Oh, I see. So and then she came back.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Yep. And then our new house was ready like 2 weeks after that. So then we moved over here. We were just waiting for the person who lived in this house to kind of live out the rest of her lease before we could move in.
Okay.
We were just playing the waiting period.
Okay. I'm just curious, the utility company, the Flint Township, did they give you a heads up that they're turning it off? Give you some kind of warning ahead of time?
I don't believe so. No, not at all.
It just got automatically turned off?
They had came over just those 2 times and kind of let us know that the water was excessive, but they didn't say that they were going to turn it off.
Okay. At that point, were you current? I know you've got the deposit, but were you current on the utility, the water bill? I mean, did you just get a bill, or what was going on with that?
I had never even got to receive a bill from them by the time that they had already shut it off.
Okay, so it's not like you got a warning, say, listen, your bill's overdue.
No,
Nothing
sir.
like that.
I never received a bill once. It was only on for about 2.5 weeks at the most
Okay.
before they shut it right.
Okay.
There was also $800 that we gave him for a security deposit that we never got back. And we also never got like a list of deductions for why he kept the security deposit.
So you paid $800 security deposit?
Yes, sir. It was originally like the down payment for the house, but in the amended agreement, he actually just switched it over to a security deposit that was to be returned at the end of our lease.
Mr. Scalise?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was there an $800 security deposit made at some point?
Yes, there was, and it was returned to them. They also resided at the property for 3 additional months rent-free.
So when did you return the security deposit? She's telling me they didn't get a security deposit back.
I don't have
Well,
proof.
they already said under oath that they received the $800 back. That was the security deposit.
I did
You sent
not.
the last month of rent
Yeah,
back.
the last $800 rent payment, which I also have printed out and put in the book that I sent to you and you sent back to me. So I printed that proof out and that's put in here.
On Zelle, remember?
That's your security deposit. You got that refunded and you got 3 months of rent-free.
The rent back. Dude.
That was the rent.
Bottom line, Your Honor, they should have never moved in. We would have never had this problem.
You gave us the keys.
Okay, but now we have the problem. So now we're here. We have to deal with it.
So you got, hold on, guys. So you got 800 back from something, whatever it was. You got 800 back, whether it was last month of rent or a security deposit. Is that right? You got some check for 800.
No, I sent him. So him and I were discussing my rent payment because I was having an issue with trying to get it to him because he only takes it one way. So I Zelled him his payment And then not even 35, 45 minutes, he sent it back to me. And then I called him freaking out, Judge. I was like, what is going on? You know, you sent me my rent payment back. What's going on? And me and the investors decided that we're not going to move with your agreement anymore. So you have to move out. And I was like, what? So that wasn't that. He gave me my money back that I sent him for the last month's rent. He didn't give me my security deposit back. I gave Jim $2,100.
Okay, so so you sent him 800, what you're saying was for the month's rent.
Yes.
When did you send? What date was that sent?
August 1st.
That was August 1st. Okay, 2025.
I had paid him. I sent him money on July 21st. I sent him money on August 1st, and then I had sent him money one more time after that on August 3rd. So I sent him $800, $800, and $800.
Okay, so you got 800 for on July 21st, you said?
Yep, and that was like the move-in $800.
That was that the security deposit?
Yep, that's security.
That's the security deposit. So then August 1st
Was another
along. That was the rent. Okay.
Yep. And then August 3rd, because so it was 16 to move in, but he let me break it in half. So that's why we did 800 and 800. And then
I was just going to ask. Okay.
Yep,
so
I paid the first month's worth of rent on the 3rd. It was a little bit late. And that was the one that he sent me right back.
I'm sorry, which one? The August 3rd one?
Yes.
Okay. Boy, and I apologize. I didn't have, I guess I didn't write the date down. For the date that you moved out and got what date did you actually move out then? When you got the notice that, well, when the water was shut off. What was that date again?
You said the date that the water was shut off?
Yeah.
Probably one of the very last days in August, one of the very first days in September, because it was only on for about 2.5 weeks, and we didn't get it on until the 14th. So.
Oh yeah, here it is. All I had was last week of September, so that's the best we could.
Oh, the last week of September?
Well, that's what you said at one point. You moved out last week of September. At some point, you did.
That was about, or maybe the second to last week of September.
Okay.
I might have it wrote down the exact date that we moved out.
And at that point, we were like just going there to feed our cats. And
yeah.
Things like we weren't even living there, I would call it. Just our things were there and our cats were there.
So, but if it was the last week of September, so you've got August rent. August rent was, we'll say, paid the 1st and the 3rd. September's rent was not paid. Is that right?
No, because at that point we were going through eviction. We were already going through eviction at that point. So.
Okay. Well, in fact, I guess I should even ask about that. Did you go through an eviction with me?
Yes, we did.
Sure. So what did I do with the eviction? What did I do with that?
You gave us until, I'm pretty sure it was September 28th, that week, the weekend of, I think it was the last weekend of September, to get our things out.
Either September.
Okay, it was probably statutory, a 10-day period. They give you 10 days or something.
It might have been October even that you because I was working like 40, 50 hours at the time. So you gave us a little extra time to get out.
Okay. So I gave you. Okay, so that's why. Okay, and that prompted the eviction because well, for me, the easy one was probably just the rent wasn't owed. Was there anything else in the judgment that I'd put other than move by whatever date it was?
No.
Just repossession back to him and the Freedom Investment Group.
That was it.
We never got into the security deposit or anything, right? I just want to make sure I got everything. I don't want to double up on things. Mr. Scalise, is that true from your end too? I gave you an eviction.
No, it's not, Your Honor. I'm looking at the sign off on the paperwork. You actually gave them an additional 30 days to vacate from the premises, and it was dated on 11/28 of 25.
11/20.
Okay.
Oh, so we had even more time.
So they had three months of free rent while they were there.
No, we didn't live there, though. There was no water or electricity.
And you sent the rent back from September, so.
And our hotel cost.
Correct.
We're staying in a
For
hotel.
my attorney's advice, I cannot accept any rents during a eviction process per law.
In the process of eviction, when you sent that money back, Jim.
Not yet.
Correct.
Correct. And then I got the paper in the mail. And then that's when the eviction process started. After you sent the money back.
I'm just looking at the date.
When, yeah.
11/28/25 is what the judge signed off on. 3 months
So
of free
what was
rent.
the date of the judgment?
It was 11/28/25, Your Honor.
11/28/25 was the.
That was the
That's
date
the
that
judge-
you.
Yep, I signed
Yes.
it. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It was actually signed on the looks like it's signed on the 14th of November, Your Honor, by you.
Okay.
But the hearing took place on the 4th of November.
Our hotel receipts, though, show that we were out of hotel in September.
So hold on. I get Mr. Sakalis for your on your end. Then you said you returned their security deposit on July 21st.
I stand corrected. It wasn't security deposit. It was the rent for September. I'm looking at the ledger now. For my attorney's advice, he said
So
that
that
I
was
cannot accept the rents, so I returned it to them.
Okay, so you kept the security deposit.
Correct.
So why did you keep the security deposit then?
Well, per law, that I can keep that for unpaid rents. They didn't pay rent for 2 months.
Yeah, no, I understand why you can, but what did you keep it for? For the rent, the unpaid rent? Is that what it was?
Correct. For the unpaid rent. I'm still out $1,700 in court costs for the eviction, and as well as damages of the property they left behind.
Okay.
I don't see any entitlement for them to receive any money from this. It's been a hardship on me.
Our clothes got ruined by the mold in your house. That's how, and all the damage.
You weren't supposed to move in, sir. You weren't supposed to move in.
Cut it out.
You didn't turn your water on, and you moved in anyway.
All right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Take responsibility, sir.
All right.
We're here to talk to the judge about what's right and what's wrong. We're not here to argue.
So I guess everything's kind of fitting into place for me a little bit, at any rate. So the one outstanding one is though. Yes, you got to help me from you. You've been good. Just remain quiet for me. But the water got shut off apparently at the end of last week of September. They moved out. What prompted, from your end, what prompted that water to be shut off?
Are you talking to me, Your Honor?
Yeah.
You
must have got a notice
Flint Township. The Flint Township told me they had unpaid balance. So that's why they shut the water off, and they said they sent them notice as well.
My bill is in there though. You can see my bill though.
So they used their deposit that they put down for the water, and they used that to pay their unpaid balance.
Right.
And they shut the water off because of unpaid bill. That's per my conversation I had with Flint Township.
After 2.5 weeks.
Do we have a copy of the bill, the water bill?
Yeah, it's in there. It should be the last page. One of the last.
That last. Okay, yeah, you did mention there's some.
Yes, sir. There's actually a couple different ones. It actually shows you too that the water was only on for 2.5 weeks. The township isn't going to shut a bill it off over an overdue bill after 2.5 weeks.
After you gave him $500.
After I just gave him $500 to turn it on, right? I gave him $500 to turn it on, and they're not going to shut it off 2.5 weeks later for an undue bill when I haven't even got a bill.
And neither one of us have ever rented in Flint Township before to have a outstanding balance. So that just doesn't make any sense.
Well, you just told the court that you had over a $400 and some water bill.
From your house.
house.
Your house, Jim. No.
Yeah, your responsibility.
Okay, man. All right.
You should have never moved into the property.
Hey,
You never turned the utilities on in your name. You violated the lease.
Judge Goggins, could you adjourn?
Could we stop with this arguing? This arguing back and forth is ridiculous. We're not here to argue. We're here to go back and forth on what's right and what's wrong, not to argue.
So,
50-year-old man.
And we do feel entitled to at least getting a little bit back of what we had to go through.
Mr. Sakalis, did you send them an itemized billing of why you were keeping their security deposit?
I'm sorry?
Did you send them an itemized list of why you were keeping their security deposit?
No, I had legal representation, and my attorney advised me that I had a right to keep the security deposit for non-payment of rent.
But you didn't send them any kind of reason why you were keeping it?
I had no forwarding address to give them that notice, Your Honor. And I was dealing with harassing text messages and emails and phone call threats. I've had to call police twice out to my property. I got 2 police reports. It's just been continuous harassment after harassment. I've never seen any tenants act out like this after giving them an opportunity to move into a property that they should have never moved into in the first place, Your Honor.
Well, and I understand what you're telling me. Why? Hold on. Okay. Why would you let them stay there for several months if they didn't have a right to be on there?
I filed the eviction, Your Honor, and it took that long for them to be moved out of the property. After the first month of them moving in, I filed my eviction.
Not true.
They were on a month-to-month basis.
Yeah, as of August 21st, when we moved into your house at the beginning of August.
So what would be the
correct? That's within 30 days, you received notice to vacate the property.
For what reason? For what reason?
You're on a month-to-month basis.
I know, but what reason?
Read your agreement. It clearly states that either party should cancel the lease with written notice. I exercise my right to cancel the lease with written notice.
So is that what you did, Mr. Segas? You sent them
yes, Your Honor.
That you're terminating? Or actually,
yes, Your Honor.
Terminating, just, okay.
The only thing we got...
We didn't ask for any additional rents or any court costs, which I endured over $1,700 in court costs and lost rents for 3 months, plus the damages that were left behind.
Your Honor, I've never dealt with a landlord like this in my life, and I have dealt with multiple different landlords. The landlord that I have right now, my electricity got shut off on accident, and he paid $1,100 to get my electricity turned back on. I've never dealt with a landlord like this in my life. This is the 5th, 6th, 7th time that Jim has been taken to court because he's a negligent landlord. If you look up his history, that's
slander. That's slander.
Well, take it up in court, sir.
Yeah. Because this isn't your case. This is mine. Remember? You did that to me last time. This isn't your case. This is my case.
Defamation of image. Yeah. I mean, you did the same thing, sir. So
right,
You want me to read all your text messages that you said? Call my wife a whore, a bitch, a nigger?
All right,
you want me to continue that with the court?
Go ahead, brother.
Okay, sir. Guys, that's it. We're all done. I'm muting everybody. I'll make a decision. Okay, we're all done. Okay, I'll come back on in a minute and make a decision. Get everybody there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, I do have one question before I give you my final decision. And looking at your lease agreement, and you had mentioned they didn't give you an forwarding address. I don't see where in your lease agreement that you've notified them that they have 4 days after which moving to give you an address. I don't see anything in there. Do you have that in there? Do you have that in there? I don't see it.
I'd have to look, Your Honor. If you looked already and didn't see it, then it's not in there. I'm just basing off of my, yeah, I had legal representation, so I followed the lead from my attorney.
I think your attorney needs to help you redo your lease agreement because it's in violation if you don't have that in there, and I don't see it. Where was
Okay.
the security deposit being held?
An escrow.
In escrow? What do you mean in escrow? Where?
An escrow, Your Honor.
I know, but where?
What do you mean where?
Well, it was in a bank
In
someplace?
a bank? Yes, in a bank, Your Honor.
Okay. Do you find that the lease agreement is in violation with regard to notifying tenants that they need to give you a forwarding address within 4 days after moving out? I heard information with regard to this water leak. I do find that the testimony from both sides is credible. There was a water leak, that the water usage was showing in excess, giving a bill of $410.67 for a bill that, based upon testimony, should not have been that high. And looking at pictures of the room, I do find that the credibility of having a leak within the property was accurate enough. But given the violation on the lease agreement itself, tenants are awarded the $800 security deposit back, $410.67 for the water usage that was in excess based upon the repairs that need to be made on pipes. I do understand what landlord is suggesting about not moving in. They didn't have authority to be on there, but nothing happened within a reasonable time period for them to be evicted earlier, granting judgment for the amount of $1,210.67 to tenants. Okay.
So they're threatening my contractor to get access to the property doesn't have any validity at all?
I've listened to everything. The reason they wouldn't have had that much if you didn't have a lease agreement that was unlawful. Okay. Honestly, that's the bulk of this thing. So I'm not going to argue it. That's my decision. So,
no, I was just trying to get some clarity, Your Honor, so I don't make the same mistake twice. You're stating that had I had something in the lease stating that they needed to provide a forwarding address, that would have made it valid, correct?
Well, we made part of it valid. Yep. Would have made the security deposit language valid and what you held on to with the security deposit. Yeah. But I'm not going to give you legal advice. That's my decision.
No, I understand.
$10. Okay. $1,210.67. Okay. Good luck to everybody.
All right. Yes.
All right.
All right.
All right. All right. Bye now.
Well, that's nigga.
Baby.